Hello, Microsoft 365 Nation. Harry Brailsford with another contributor monthly conversation. I am at an undisclosed location in Seattle, Washington, in a hacker house, and we have Andrew Bettany back with us from the UK. So, sir, welcome, and thank you for joining us in what is your early evening. So we appreciate that.
It's fine. Thank you very much for having me, Harry. Pleasure.
All right. Well, hey, this month we wanted to talk about Windows Autopilot, and you just happened to have it up on the screen, the talking points, Gamechanger or Gimmick. So let's jump right into it. And of course, I'm going to interrupt you along the way.
Please do. Let's make this as interactive as possible. You know, to some extent, what I'm going to say is, for many companies, Windows Autopilot is a modern method of device deployment. And what we mean by that is, this gives you a new way of deploying devices to your users, which combines a little bit of light touch. It doesn't require them to do much apart from put their corporate username and password into the out-of-box experience, and then the device is set up completely. And when you see that in action, it's pretty amazing what it does, you know, and it requires minimal effort from the IT team. So it's pretty cool. You know, so there's three main stages, and you know, you obviously have to buy the device, and this could be, you know, it could be your normal vendor, so it could be, you know, Dell or HP or Lenovo, and you can buy one device or 100 devices. The device has a unique hardware ID, which we'll come on to a little bit later, but that is the thing that identifies that device.
And is that a MAC address? In the old days, we called that a MAC address.
No, not really. No, it's a combination of many things. It's a hardware-based ID that's then, okay. Yeah. So we don't get to find out how that calculation is created. You, as an administrator, can calculate that value using a clever bit of PowerShell script.
Okay.
But ultimately, the vendor, if you order 1,000 boxes or 100 boxes, then the vendor will send you a CSV file with those hardware IDs ready for you to then upload to the autopilot provisioning service. They can also do it for you if they're one of your partners. But you know, it's that hardware ID. It tells Autopilot, which is a cloud-based service, that device belongs to you, and therefore, when your administrator sets up your users to say, yes, John can use Autopilot on that device to set it up, those two are then married together, and that's how it works. The end user then receives the device, and the magic then takes place.
Cool. All right, please continue.
All right. So, you know, what do you need? Let's just look at the basics. You need Windows 10. Obviously, this is a modern desktop, so it needs Windows 10. You need Azure Active Directory. So you need something like Office 365 or Microsoft 365 or even Dynamics 365. You know, any of the cloud-based tenants that Microsoft produce, or even just a basic version of Azure Active Directory will be fine. And then you need a mobile device management service, which is Intune. Okay. Now, when you look at this whole package, people will say, well, isn't that the same as Microsoft 365? Well, yes, if you've got those three components, then ultimately you have Microsoft 365, which we can talk about another time. So that's, you know, there's some money involved in putting this package together. But you know, for you've got remote workers who don't come to the office that often. This is a great solution. Let's keep
well, Andrew, I'll tell you what. Let me catch something that just flew by. Almost a rhetorical observation, but it's very interesting in the Microsoft 365 nation, and we just had a webinar the other day, sort of a hello world or the big reveal. Wanted to line up good content from people like you first, but Andrew, you would be surprised at how the questions on the webinar, well attended, basically is, what is Microsoft 365? We're kind of at the what is stage, right?
So, yeah, and I'd love to add just a quick snippet to that.
Yeah.
To some extent, everybody in the world knows about Office 365. You know, we're all nodding our heads, and everybody's been on Windows 7 for so long. And what's happened is businesses have got used to using Office 365 as a go-to tool, and everyone's happy. What a lot of the salespeople did on the Microsoft partner side was saw the opportunity of upgrading those customers directly to Microsoft 365 without really saying to them, oh, you get all these extra bits. And so you've got a lot of customers there who have got actually Microsoft 365 Windows 10 and Office 365 and EMS, which is the mobile device management and security, but they don't know they've got all those pieces anymore. So there's a huge education piece that's coming down the line right now, to try and get people to understand you've got all these tools, use them. They're there. It's a package deal because they work really beautifully together.
All right, benefits of Windows Autopilot. Go.
Exactly. So yeah, like I said at the beginning, it's very easy to provision the device. You don't need to do any imaging. You don't need to do any of the Microsoft Deployment Toolkit or System Center Configuration Manager. Those are great tools. Don't get me wrong, but they're complex and they cost a bunch of cash. So Autopilot, easy to provision, no real infrastructure. You don't need any servers. It's all done in the cloud. It's easy for your end users to take on board because they simply get the box out of the box. So get the laptop out of the box from Lenovo, unpack it, on the out-of-box experience, they'll type in their username and password, and boom, the system will then take over and it'll connect to your mothership, get your Intune policies, it'll get your company branding, and you go and make a coffee and come back and you've got your desktop and it's got all the apps that you need. There's no pain. That first time. It's like magic, Eric.
Yeah, it's like magic, but I'm also a Luddite, and what Luddites like to do is actually do the work and make good coin, and we don't like the loom and automation coming in. And but I'm just making an observation because, man, back in the 90s, I got paid good coin to hook up a desktop.
That's look. Come on, we need to modernize. And
I know.
if you don't modernize, the guy the guy in the next office along, he'll be offering the snake oil in the pub, and the customers will buy it. They will buy the simplest. Look, we're not looking at cutting IT jobs here. This is not going to save the company a bunch of money. What it's going to do is allow those IT guys and girls to refocus their energy on building business productivity, building out better, more secure, leveraging all the tools. That's what they need to be doing. It's not about, hey, let's get rid of all those IT guys because all they do is drink coffee and reminisce about the old times. Not at all. This is good stuff, and you're getting the top drawer level of device and data security, which, frankly, that's the elephant in the room. Nobody's really talking about security anymore because we're scared to touch it in case we get it wrong. Out of the box, these things are going to be secure. Let's move on. So there's a couple of prerequisites, and I'm not going to go through them all, or actually, I'd normally do a demo at this point and show you. Go into Azure Active Directory.
Well, I put your link down below so people can click over and start following you and get the deep dive.
And ask the questions. That's fine. And ask the questions. I think I put a slightly longer version of this slide deck on SlideShare, which I can share if anybody, I can put that on Twitter as well. So look, there's two or three prerequisites. One is we need to enable this system. We then need to configure custom branding in Azure AD.
Okay.
Now, the second thing is we need to set up the devices and register them with the Autopilot cloud-based service. So that just says, this is the ID, it belongs to my tenant. Make sure that if it pops up on the grid, it's allocated to my tenant, and you then know when John, who lives out of Scotland, because I'm in the UK, when he logs on to his brand new device, that ID belongs to us, and you'll enroll him, and that'll be fine. And there's a little bit of profile configuration right at the beginning as well to say, do you want this to be a silent installation? Do you want him to see the steps that the machine's going through? So they're useful as well.
Okay.
So, a couple of features have come through in the last 6 months. This has been going for a year. Windows Autopilot is available if you've got Windows 10 version 1703, and it really became mainstream in 1709. So that's a good over a year ago. So things that you can do. You can personalize the deployment, so you can say, hello, John, on that out-of-box.
Wow, I'm going to interrupt you. How about hello, Archie?
John, this is.
Let's go with Archie.
Yeah, exactly. This is M365 Nation. It's our computer, so you got the company logo there. And that's really nice. When a company supplies a laptop to a user, to one of their staff, and they get that out-of-box experience. It's not being touched by IT. This is the magic. It's not being touched by IT.
Yep.
And They unravel it, they unpack, get the polystyrene out and go, wow, this is a brand new box. I plug it in, I turn it on, I open my laptop for the first time, and they say, hello, this is contoso.org or whatever, and it knows their name. That to me is just magic. Anyway, let's move on. So there's a couple of things that we can also do with Autopilot. You don't have to only provision brand new desktops or laptops from Lenovo or Dell. You can actually apply this to your existing desktops and make, so you might take a Windows 7 machine that you want to upgrade to Windows 10. You can apply Autopilot Reset, which will then wipe the Windows 7 machine, put Windows 10 on it, and then repackage it so you get the whole clean out-of-box experience. And that's a nice thing, And then also
that is. Yep.
Yeah, it cleans the machine. Obviously, when you put Windows 10 back on, you get all the apps and the settings and the corporate settings. You get all your user state profiles and all the good stuff comes back. And the beauty about the Autopilot Reset is it retains all the AD goodness in the background. You don't have to do all that again, which is fairly seamless, but it just saves a little bit of time. Right. So one of the new things that came out only like 6 months ago, and back end of last year, was the ability to see, or for your users to see this statement, this status page, this enrollment status page, so that when I said they log into the machine, it connects to the Autopilot service, and then it goes and does its business. Well, the business end is this, and your users can actually see the device preparation, the device setup, the account setup. They'll see what apps have been installed, and this can run in the background. You can click continue anywhere and get on with your business, or as an administrator, you can actually say no. Don't let them continue their business. Don't let them do anything until this is finished. So, so if you're installing Office, it might take 30 minutes. But you don't really want your users to be using that PC or that laptop until it's being fully configured. So there's a way to stop that. You still get to see this. It's happening. Otherwise, you get like a blank screen. It's not that friendly. It's like we're working on it. This was a great addition. Okay, so go back to the IDs. There's two ways of getting them. One is from the vendor, from Dell or Lenovo. The other one is you can use a little bit of PowerShell script on the brand new device or an existing device and extract that hardware ID, save it to a CSV file using a bit of PowerShell, which is public. We can give you that, and then upload that to the Autopilot provisioning server, and you do that through either the business store, the Microsoft Store, Intune, or you can even do it from the brand new Microsoft 365 device management screen. So there's quite a few places. They're all device management tools. Just really, who else is doing this? So there's already a bunch of the big top players.
Yeah, there's all the big dogs.
Yeah, obviously Microsoft loved their Surface devices, and they were the first player. But the other big guy, now Dell's missing from that list. Now they will come on board, and they actually do a very similar tool themselves. So they do their own.
I can see that. Dell has a way of doing it by themselves.
Yeah. Now, one interesting caveat on this is, obviously there's a little bit of work for the vendors to do on this, because they've got to provide the extra hardware ID service. So they will, or some of them will charge a token fee. And it's not a great deal of change, like $5 or $3. Depending on how much effort they're doing, they'll send you that. It's a top up on top of the device cost, so it's not a big deal. But it just gives you that ability to ship the device direct to the client. You don't need to touch it. It's just a no-brainer.
I can see that.
You don't need to have 10 laptops all humming away installing, because ultimately it's Windows 10. Windows 10 is Windows 10. It doesn't, you can run PowerShell scripts through Intune nowadays to remove all that bloatware and all the extra Candy Crush apps and things. So you can do all that once the machine's been installed, or as part of the out-of-box experience. So nearly finished. I've got 2 more slides. So I just want to really recap on this whole procedure. We've got the purchasing decision or the reprovisioning of existing devices. Then we need to somehow get the device IDs and put those into the cloud. That's the key for that. There's a little bit of setup, and that's a one-off thing. You just do that for that batch of laptops. Put your users into that group, and then boom, it works nicely. The last slide, I'm going to leave this on there for people to really try and comprehend all the big picture. But it's a really nice system. It's well worth trying. You can sign up for a free demo or get a virtual lab. Actually see this working, and just use a Hyper-V machine or a virtual machine of your choice. And I don't know why that's moving forward, but hey, we're nearly done. And give it a go. It might just revolutionize the way that you deploy machines already, especially if you can. You need to embrace Intune or mobile device management. That is the future. We need to be looking.
Yeah, well, and I joke about being a Luddite because, in fact, I have had my greatest career success when I'm out in front of everybody, leading the parade, maybe even before the parade gathers. Andrew, I've had some wins and I've had some losses because if you're too far out in front, you may be riding the wrong horse, right? I mean, it all looks good, and this is the great idea. God, why didn't someone think of this before? And then the free market, right? The free market will come back and say, well, we're not interested in that great new idea. But as a general strategy, yes, you need to stay lean and mean, for lack of a better word. And this tool looks like that's what that does.
It's a cool tool. It's not going to be suitable for everybody,
right?
And there's going to be for the next 10 years, do you want to jump on this charging horse? Well, some companies will do. If the cost of deploying devices is a pain, and remember, a lot of people are going from Windows 7 to Windows 10 soon, and they forgot how to do all that. They're like, we deploy Windows 7, easy peasy now. Windows 10 is a little bit more tricky, and it's got a few more moving parts. So using this system, your mind is blown when you think, oh, so I don't need to do the old version of complex imaging and system sensor and MBT. Right. No, why don't you just have a look at this? You might just think, oh wow, it's certainly people that I've showed it to are now starting to embrace it, and they're like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I could use that for certainly my remote workers. At least it'll buy me a bunch of time until I'm ready to embrace the whole imaging and deployment of Windows 10 using the old tools, which you don't necessarily need.
Andrew, thank you for joining us. It's the month of May, so we're going to see you in the month of June. And next month, we're going to double-click down into one of your latest books. So enjoy springtime across the pond. Tell little Archie hello for me, the new prince.
I wonder if I thought, no, my son's called Tommy. You must mean Master Archie. It's not even called
Master Archie. Okay.
Master Archie.
All right. Hey, and thanks for being part of our community. Appreciate it. Folks, you can see down below how to track, follow, learn more about Andrew, and buy his book. Thank you, Andrew. And thanks, Jenny, in the radio control room. Bye-bye.